look at her profile. And it is incredible, like classic, what you should do. So I was just blown away just by looking at it. So if you need inspiration beyond what we've shown you, go to Teresa's profile. Teresa, are you here?
I am.
Love your
I will.
profile.
Thank
It's
you. I
beautiful.
worked my
It's
butt
so
off
like
on
well
it.
thought out. Love it.
Oh, thank you. I will put the URL. Here
Oh,
you go,
everybody's gonna
people.
want to know.
Yeah.
So, but it's so good. Like everything from your banner, the headline, your link with your newsletter. Love that.
Awesome.
Love
Thank
that.
you.
Your featured section's beautiful. Your about section is fantastic. I love your lead into it. So just love it. I even love how you put your company in your experience section. So just love it.
Thank you.
That makes me excited.
Yeah. It's I mean, it definitely is a lot better than it was, for sure.
Well, let's
But
back up and let's tell everybody what you do. They'll know when they go to your
yeah.
profile, but tell everybody what you do and kind of tell us how you came across the academy, Melissa, all of those things, like how you came into our world.
Yeah, I have a bunch to share. So I'm in it now. I can't believe it's only been 2 months, but it has only been 2 months. I think I'm about 70% through the coursework. And there's more beyond the coursework, but that's sort of where I am in the process, just so you all have some context. Um, so let's see, I'm a leadership and executive coach. I work specifically with people in the design industry, even more specifically in the user experience design industry, which
Okay.
probably most of you have no idea what that is, except that you experience it all the time, every day, because Zoom was designed by user experience designers. Your Apple iPhone was designed by user experience designers. So it's basically teams inside of big companies that design digital experiences and a lot more. And I focus on people that are in leadership positions. So like a chief design officer,
Oh,
um,
yeah. Yeah.
and then like the leadership teams that work for them. And sometimes I do team coaching work and sometimes I do one-on-one coaching work.
Were you always on LinkedIn? Did you always know it was for you? Or was it like a new thing when you came across like the masterclass?
That is a great question. So I have been on it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I used it mostly before when I was employed at a company or multiple companies. I used it like, to have my resume and sort of have some presence in that way. And then I started my business about 3 years ago and started using it more at that time,
Okay.
and sort of figuring out my voice and all that good stuff. Um, that I mean, uh, it's really, I think right before I joined this class, the advice that you hear in the coaching industry is like to work your network, right? So you set up lots of meetings with people and you ask them if they'll introduce you to people and you do all that. But I had been having this feeling like if I'm going to be really successful, I have to move beyond my own network. I need to figure out how to attract people and I have a pretty big network. I taught design leadership classes for years. I know a lot of people, but I had this itch about that. And I think I don't even remember how I found out about your class. I think
That's
there
what
was
a
some
lot of
good
people say.
marketing that happened. I don't know. And it wasn't a time where I was actually signing up for a lot. Like there's some algorithm that knew I was the right people for you because I was signing up for a lot of like webinars.
Yeah.
And I was in the space of like, I need something and I don't know exactly what it is, but I need something to help me like go to the next level. And I signed up for your master class. I told one other coach about it. We both signed up with no intention of actually paying and joining
Totally.
it.
Yeah.
And I think I was in the first 10 people who signed up
So
because
how has it been for you? Like how is LinkedIn working for you now versus then? And what tips could you give somebody who's
yeah,
in your shoes where you were?
um, I have a lot of things to share with you all. So my challenge is to be brief.
I'm sure they'll
So,
appreciate everything. So everybody get a notebook, start writing things down.
um, I mean, okay, so the way I thought about it, this is how I think about investment. If I think I can end up getting a client, one client from working, doing, paying for something, it's probably worth it. My price point is high enough that it's probably worth it. So that was in my mind. I was like, you know what? It's a no brainer. I can tell that if I learn how to use LinkedIn better as a tool, I'm going to get more business and I'm probably going to get more than one client. I've gotten 5 in the last 2 months and I have other sales conversations going on.
Right.
And honestly, you guys, that was not how I got sales before. I think I've had 3 clients prior through LinkedIn. All of my clients were through my network, other ways of getting clients. And that's in 2 months. And the clients that I had before are to date some of my biggest clients, like corporate work, like big stuff that happened. So I knew, I was like, you know what? Like LinkedIn, there's something about LinkedIn because even though I haven't gotten a volume, I've gotten like very lucrative work through LinkedIn without really having a good strategy. So, I was like, it makes sense to me to spend, this is like a nominal amount really for like understanding how to use a platform that will ultimately drive sales. That's how I looked at it. I have also, I don't have metrics around this, but I've definitely seen an uptick in people following me and they're the right people. That's the other thing is they're people in design
You
leadership.
get your algorithm the right way, which
Yeah.
everybody in the chat is like connecting with each other. And from me, like that's my thing. Like,
Yeah.
do not connect with everybody. You got to make it the right way. But when you do it, then you're going to start getting the right people coming to you, people that you'd want to work with.
Well, it's interesting because I actually saw I'm not going to say who it is, but there's someone who's an influencer on LinkedIn that does coach people on LinkedIn. And one of their clients got like 60,000 followers. And so they were talking about it. And I was like, so what?
I know. Right?
Because if it's 60,000 random people, it doesn't matter. I was thinking, and are they making money?
Right.
Because the thing that I definitely have learned working with you all and that everyone says once they're in the program is like, you can have a small number of the right amount of people and make a lot of money. That's really, you want the right.
That's what you should do. Like, that's the way to do it. Yeah. Connecting with everybody. LinkedIn is not a numbers game, people. It is not like you want to grow that number. You want to grow it the right way or it's not actually going to work for you.
Yeah. So the other things I would say, I'm going to be a really good unpaid salesperson for you. I have no skin in the game, you guys. So this is just because I think it's a really good experience. And I'll tell you some of the other things, not just the money part that's been really high value. So one is I think it's undervalued. I think you get a crap load more than you realize right now. It is, granted, there are other things that you guys offer later. So I think I understand your business model and it makes sense, but, it's basically like an entrepreneur school. It's a lot more than just learning how to functionally use LinkedIn. So, the stuff that I just heard Melissa talking about like you get clear on if you do the work, which it's up to you, right? So don't sign up for it if you're not going to do it. That's what I would say.
100%. Definitely won't do any of us any good.
Yeah. But if you do the work, you'll be super clear if you're not already about who your target is, our audience is, their pain points, what keeps them up at night. You'll be able to articulate that. You'll be able to articulate your value proposition. And then you will use all of that to then really create a strong profile, be very intentional about the kind of content you create, be very intentional about how you engage with other people through the platform. And you also learn about sales. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm actually really looking forward to that.
That's crazy. You've gotten the clients, but you haven't even dove into the sales part yet. Think about the fire that's there.
Yeah. So anyways, there's just there's a lot, that is, I think that what Melissa and you guys are doing is that I also really appreciate is you're thinking holistically about entrepreneurship. And, also
it's not normal for people to think holistically about entrepreneurship. I just want to say that everybody's got this one track way to do things. That's what you see everywhere. Do this my way, do this my way, do this my way. But this is the whole thing.
and whole thing like mindset too. And I remember hearing in one of the modules, like she was talking about how, early on, it like she brought in, or you guys brought in, sales as a really explicit part because you realized like people were getting all these leads, but they didn't know how to close them. So you're like
Right.
thinking that way. But also, like, if you guys don't listen to her podcast, I think I've listened to 30 episodes, something insane. It's really good. It's really good. She's very, very transparent about her journey and, not just the tactical things, but the psychological things and kind of like the whole picture of what it means to go on the journey of entrepreneurship, which is a really challenging journey. And, I feel, I think I sort of sensed this when I was in this thing that you guys are in, but I see it even more now that like the way that she approaches building her business and the act and practice of entrepreneurship is very aligned with how I want to evolve as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. Like, I want balance, I want focus, I want mission. There's a whole bunch of things. So that has been for me like really attractive, especially because I didn't grow up with entrepreneurs around me. Like, honestly, just seeing a woman who is operating at the level that she's operating at and is very transparent and seems
So
very
transparent.
humble and honest. Yeah. And like, she comes from a place of what's the opposite of scarcity? What's the word? Abundance.
Abundance.
She comes from
Total
a place of
abundance.
abundance. And, we all get to benefit from that. And then hopefully we, pass that on to other people. So, yeah.
So what would you say to anyone on the fence about joining?
I mean, it goes back to like my measure before was, do I think I could sell? I mean, I don't know what your numbers are, but could you get a client? Is it possible that you'll get a client? And not just like while you're in the program, but you think about the domino effect, right?
Right.
Like, at some point you will, because you will just be so
And I think
better on the
the way that we're
platform.
teaching, you could use anywhere. You could use it in any piece of your business. So I think,
Mhm.
although we love LinkedIn, if you're at other places, it could work there too.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. So, I give it a thumbs up. I'm really glad I did it. And
And where can people
you have
find you?
questions. I'll put it in here again. I put my,
I think I put it in there too. Let me put it in
yeah,
again.
my
Here, I'll
link
drop it. There's her
there.
LinkedIn.
Um,
Thank you so much,
yeah.
Teresa. I hope
Yeah, you're
that
welcome.
like you really inspired people. I mean, and I just want to say personally, I think you've done an incredible job. And
Thank you.
I love when people take what we teach and run with it. And like you're just a prime example of that. And I love it.
Thank you. Oh, and also the other thing I forgot to say, which you're modeling right now, is there's a lot of support once you get in. Like, Jackie will answer your question pretty much the same day and maybe like within minutes. I mean, not just Jackie, but there's a whole crew of people that are there to support. Yeah, I see some hands waving that are there to support. They're really friendly and responsive and they want you to succeed. And entrepreneurship, it can be a lonely
Sure.
road, and having support and people who like are championing you along the way is awesome. So I think that's all I got. Was that
All
enough?
right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
you're
for being
welcome.
here.
All right.